pleasant morning here at Broadcasting House. Hello and welcome to your program Good Morning, LEONE. As always, this program starts today with analysis and views on issues of national concern. We are your presenters. My name is Frances Bernard and I'm teaming up with
Emmanuel Samoa. Well, we start a quote. A quote of the day is from American author George Orwell, and it says, "If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear."
Is that so, Emmanuel?
And I think someone is in the studio to tell some people what they do not want to hear.
Well, in the program this morning, Civil Rights Coalition speaks on the non-extension of registration and payment of subscription for members of the Sierra Leone Bar Association.
Well, we take a look at community-based rehabilitation, a strategic framework designed to advance disability inclusion, accessibility, rehabilitation, and empowerment for persons with disabilities across Sierra Leone.
And Kuma Valley Water devise ways to conserve water in Freetown. These stories, including your messages, comments, and views, which you can send to the number on your screen. The number is 0300733719, or you go to our Facebook page, slbc.sl. This is Good Morning, LEONE. You can also find us on all other social media handles with the same address. Good Morning, LEONE live on TV, and you can be part of us by sending your comments and views to the number on the screen. Where we start this morning with something that has been making the rounds on the media, not only on the main media but even on social media. The main contender for the Sierra Leone Bar Association presidency, Martina Igbenda, has issued a press release raising concerns after the annual general meeting and election dates were postponed to the 31st July and 1st August, respectively. The release states that there are too many unanswered questions as the present executive maintains their position that only members who have paid their AGM and annual subscription fees on or before 20th May 2025 will be permitted to access the conference center, allowed to vote and be voted for. The original deadline, according to the release, was justified on the basis that elections were imminent. The election did not take place. The AGM was postponed and members were informed that the treasurer will use the additional time to verify payment and reconcile with the bank. If additional time became necessary for the association to complete administrative processes, the release states then fairness equally demands that members be afforded the opportunity to continue paying their subscriptions and regularize their membership before the newly scheduled election date. The release further states that Madam Igbenda is publicly challenging the executive to reopen subscription and permit members to regularize their membership. Well, for more on this, we have in the studio the coordinator of the Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Mali, who has been monitoring the Sierra Leone Bar Association election saga. Good morning, Alfonso, and welcome to the SLBC.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, when we ask, what's your interest in the election of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, when we have so many issues around that need your attention?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very good question. I have answered that question here, and I will answer it again. But let me digress to commend Madam Josephine Kamara. The SLBC is now a works here. That's very good. Kudos. I also want to appeal, since the chief director is here, to review the pay package, the salary scale of SLBC worker. They are professional, they are giving their time. I think their take home is way below the efforts they are putting. So on that light, I want to make this appeal again. I have also appealed to the minister that you consider their pay package, which is way below what we think they deserve as a professional journalist. With that said, let me now come to your question. Firstly, the Bar Association is not only for lawyers. In this very SLBC that I'm sitting now, the composition of the board, they represent me in that board. Because when they take decision about the SLBC, it's about me. Because this is a state broadcaster, including other institutions like NASIT and other institutions. They have statutory representation there. So when they represent, I expect somebody who represents me there is somebody, who have the competence to represent me. When you have a divided bar, you will only know that it's only a fraction of those who are in the camp of the current executive who have the opportunity to represent citizens in all of these statutory institutions. This is why fundamentally we said the bar is divided and there is a need to unite the bar. So for that reason, and they're dealing with the rule of law and access to justice, it concerns me, Alfonso Manley, sitting here.
All right, so Mr. Manley, now that you've made your position very clear, let's talk about the issues being raised by Martina Ebena, one of the contenders for the position of presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association. It's no secret that the Sierra Leone Bar Association, a year or two ago, when they went to Kenema, the story is not going to talk about. Onto this moment, even members in the current executive, we had Commander here, the PRO, the other day, and he said they are not happy with the current situation, what happened in Kenema, and therefore they are calling on members to go to elections. Why do you think this should be not only an issue that concerns only lawyers, but even the citizens of Sierra Leone?
You see, when it comes to elections, there are parameters that we should ensure we meet those parameters for the election to be free, fair, credible, transparent, and all-inclusive, as long as you're a member. Before now, I have said it. 4 of our points that we want to see that will ensure this election is credible. Election have 3 cycles: the pre, during, the conduct, the election itself, and post. When you want to rig election, you do that during the pre-stages before the actual election, and we have taken note of that. Firstly, the venue that was secured by the outgoing president can only accommodate about 500 to 600 lawyers, in her own words. And she said when she cross-checked the list of payments, over 1,000 lawyers have paid. As a bar president, you should have known that you have over 3,000 lawyers, your membership. So when you cater for venue, you actually should have a venue that is conducive for this kind of events. So this is why when the PRO came to say, all logistics is in place, we are ready for the election, after we said, no, there is logistics process. So we raised the red flag to say, no, something fishy is going on. That's 1. 2, we advise, after the election was postponed, sine die, the AG came in, we heard what the National Investment Board said. I'm not going through what they said again. But again, they stated it clearly that there should be a date for the next election, because that postponement seems to be cancellation. Now we have a date. Before now, the cut-off date for payment was on the 29th of May, because we envisaged the election to be held on the 5th and 6th of June. If that date is shifted, we're now having the election on the 31st and 1st of August. It is but fit to promote inclusiveness. You also extend the date for payment, because those lawyers, some of them, we are unhappy. We spoke to them, we appealed to them in this very TV station to say, look, because they said they don't recognize this executive. We appealed to them. We went to some of their offices to appeal. Please come, we want to say united bar. Some of them accepted. So if you shift the date for election, it is but fit. You also adjust the dates for payments, so they will not be disenfranchised. That's 1. 2, we also advise before now, publish the list of those who are qualified to be voted and to be voted for in this AGM.
So, Mr. Mali, before you continue, one would say if you are a member of an association, for example, if you are a member of SLAT, you did not need to wait until elections, then you go to and pay your subscription. Maybe that could be the argument of the current president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, that members do not need to wait. They need to pay their subscription even before election.
When you fix a date for elections, this is the time you should come with rules and regulation borders around that election, so the election will be peaceful, will be transparent, will be fair. One of which is to ensure you encourage your membership to pay their
But
dues.
they have the M&A, and if that is
And there is no
M&A
date in the N&A cut-off line. If there is, you can quote it for me. There is none.
No, I'm not talking about a date. I'm talking about subscription. How members should subscribe.
Yes, that is correct. So when you have elections and there is a cut-off line, and when that election is postponed, you adjust every other thing. You adjust every other thing, because that date on the 29th was because of the election was to be on the 5th and 6th of June. But it's no longer the case anymore. We are going to have the election on the 31st, and this is very unique. A set of lawyers, we are disgruntled. They are saying we are not recognized in this executive. We went out to them, we appealed to them. It's not a normal situation after what happens in Kenema. You saw the formation of Royal Society. It's no secret.
Yes.
So we appeal. So please, the public is appealing to you, want a united back. And some of them listen to us. So it's a unique situation. It's a unique situation that warrants all of us to shift our position.
So Alfonso, the thing that you are calling for an extension, because we saw it for Martina's press release, and also Civil Rights Coalition, you two are calling on the current executive to extend the subscription, the time for payment. Is it part of the M&A of the Bar Association?
So I'm telling you what is in the M&A. Hold on. When it comes to election, you set guidelines. For any elections, you set guidelines, as SLAG is doing. You have provisions for that. But what we have found out is that in terms of the bar, you know, there is no strict guidelines.
So there are no guidelines?
I say strict guidelines. I'm not saying there is no guidelines. I say there is no strict guidelines. Right. If you have postponed the election to a future date, adjust all other factors. This is the point. You have changed the venue. You have changed the date. Ensure that space seamlessly to be part of, because they are lawyers. I'm not asking for carpenters. I'm not asking for masoners, no engineers. I'm asking for lawyers who have complained to us. And before now, we have also advised, publish the delegate list, because the press release issued by the Bar Association is ambiguous. They are talking of arrears. Now, if somebody has paid for 2026, hoping that I'm going to take part on the AGM, and you go for that AGM and they tell you, no, you have had arrears, and you say you don't know, because you have not published the list. So we are advising, way before the election, publish this list. And also we have seen the group is calling for what? An independent body to conduct the election, and we agree with them. All elections should be conducted by an independent committee.
Is that part of their M&A?
I believe so, because
this is
part of the M&A, when they go to the hall, they will appoint somebody.
The most senior.
Exactly.
Most senior.
So that process, they are saying it should be credible. And let me tell you, Madam Tuma should have made all of these reforms, because she saw what happened in Kenema. She refusing to make reforms in this is deliberate. No, I'm telling you, it's deliberate, because you must have learned from what happens in Kenema to prevent it in the future.
So Alfonso,
they have that responsibility to have created a level playing field, learning from what happened in Kenema.
So Alfonso,
after the 2023 election, now talk of electoral reforms.
So Alfonso, I've had this comment from 2-3 people saying that Alfonso or the Civil Rights Coalition is so vociferous about this. Maybe they must have been, bribed or some kind of way for the Martina scam. The reason why all of your advocacy, they are saying it against the Tuma scam.
That's a figment of imagination. And that?
No.
You have not. What you've had me saying, prepare a level playing field so the election will be free, fair, transparent, and credible. Period. That's all you ask for. And before now, it is in the public domain. The public is also concerned that the bar is sharply divided. When you had the issue of tripartite, I believe the bar association to guide my thoughts. There is no press release. It's only the Lawyer Society who came out to advise to say, look, I think this agreement should be tabled in Parliament as we did for the LEONE Peace Accord. We've seen several press releases for Lawyer Society. Not that we accept all of them. Bar association after they've been silent.
Okay, so Alfonso, quickly before we let you have some rest in the program, and have you been able to engage Tuma and other members of her executive on some of these issues that you are talking about?
Thank you very much. Well, in one of the programs I had with your sister station, the PRO was there.
Alfred.
Commander.
I spoke to him passionately about the need for them to conduct a free, fair, and transparent election. I spoke to him passionately. I advised him. He replied that, look, there have been some gaps in terms of,
He said so on
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I'm telling you that they should have reformed 2 years. They should have reformed because they knew what happened in Kenema. They should have reformed. But when you want to create a stage to rig an election, this is where it starts. And this is what we are saying no to. No. And lastly, let me assure all lawyers, I'm saying this with authority, who are willing.
When you're not a lawyer.
No, I am saying this with authority because we want to guard democracy. No, hold on.
Okay.
We want to guard democracy. We want to ensure good governance is seen within the bar association.
Okay.
I have told you the stake. They represent me in this board. If any lawyer who is not competent represents me in this board, they take bad decision for the SLBC. Okay. We don't want that. Okay. So I am saying with authority, let me assure you,
where
lawyers.
Where are you getting this authority from?
No, listen.
That's my concern.
Okay, listen to me. Don't listen.
You are not a lawyer.
No, we want to assure them because we are fighting for democracy, transparency in elections. Okay. We've been doing this for far too long.
No.
Now, before now, we used to observe slave election. During Umar Fofana, Kevin Lewis, they were sent to National Youth Coalition. When I was in National Youth Coalition as a program officer, we used to observe your election. There have never been any cause to complain, right? So we want to assure lawyers, as long as you are lawyers and you are willing to be voted or to be voted for, on that day, you will take part in this election. And let me hasten to say, some of them have gone to court. Wow. They have gone to court.
You know, I am tempted
let's allow you to rest. He's Alfonso Manley, the National Coordinator for Civil Rights Coalition, talking on the extension of the time for subscription of members of the bar. While we go over to another issue, the annual presidential town hall will take place in Makeni on Tuesday, the 30th of June. The president will answer questions from citizens across the country on issues of governance, tripartite, global development, and its legacy. The program is organized by the Ministry of Information and Civic Education to bring the government closer to the people as a way of enhancing democratic accountability. The venue is rotational. The first was held in Freetown and the second last year in Kenema. This is Makeni's turn. In the studio, we have been joined by the Chief Director in the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, Almami Lahai Kamal. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you, colleagues.
And welcome home.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, colleagues.
So, Mr. Kamal, this particular program, this town hall, taking it to Makeni, on all of the town halls that you guys have been organizing, it's the broader aim you're saying that it's bringing government closer to the people. I want you to put it into context. When you say holding a town hall is bringing government closer to the people.
Yes, it is modeled from the civic model democracy, where the public reasoning, public discussions, public conversations, public feeling about the presidency and access to the presidency. Not every one of us has access to the presidency. even journalists, CSO people, sometimes it's unusual to access the president. And so we feel that as a ministry, and on account of the 1 year stewardship of the presidency, it is but fitting to situate the president at a location where the ordinary man will have access to him. The ordinary man will hold him to account. The ordinary man will say, "Pa, you be say there is food security on this. How far has that gone?" The ordinary man will make an assessment of the 5 big game changer and question the president on those activities, on the implementation of those programs, and where the president will be at liberty to address Sierra Leoneans, to talk to them so far on what he has delivered on, or perhaps on what he has not delivered on. So we feel that it is not a mediated conversation, a mediated program where there will be an interpreter to interpret on what the people will be asking. This is a direct conversation with the president, with his people, with Sierra Leoneans, those who voted for him and those who did not vote, those who did not vote for him. So sit at a table and discuss. So that's the philosophy of this event.
Mr. Kama, I want to send your mind back. Last year it was in Kenema, and it was said the presidential town hall where the people in Kenema or the East should have an opportunity to talk to the president. Or unfortunately, the president was not there. What about this one? Are we going to see a repeat of a situation where the president will not be there and the chief minister be there? Because it is said presidential town hall where the people want to talk to the president himself.
It is a national event. It is not restricted to those who are in Kenema to access the president, and the same in Makeni. No, the president will not be speaking to the people of Makeni. It is only the location that is in Makeni, but rather the president will be sitting and talking to Sierra Leoneans. So what we have done is to invite people across Sierra Leone in all districts to locate, to converge in Makeni and take part in the program. That is what we have done. It's a kind of representative democracy. Not all of us would be there as a country because of space. So what we have done is to select members from sectors of the public to meet in Makeni and get this discussion. That is what we have done. It's only the location that is in Makeni, but in actual fact, the president is sitting with Sierra Leoneans.
So in Makeni, we will see the president because that
so
was the concern.
So I'm not coming
for
to
Kenema.
that. I'm not coming to that. Yesterday, we had a very huge meeting in the office of the minister, together with the State House communication team, with whom we are planning. So this is a presidential town hall, and the president will attend this town hall. But mind you, we do not control the agenda of the presidency. That is in the hands of the president himself. But we have had assurances from the presidency that he will attend. And that is why the planning is between the Ministry of Information and Civic Education and State House Communications. As I speak, yesterday, a team departed Freetown to Makeni. And today again, a State House Communication team will depart to Makeni, just to ensure that all of the preparation, all of the dynamics around this event is well organized and befitting the presidency, because it is the president that is attending this event. So security, the hall, the decor in the hall, lighting, stage, ACs, everything about the planning is on course.
So Mr. Kamara, there is this notion that Sierra Leoneans are going on with, is that this presidential town hall meeting where the president himself is there is stage managed, and the people that ask the question, they are already, let me say, programmed to ask the question, and not necessarily all of those people, someone who is in the hall can just randomly stand up and say, okay, Mr. President, I want to ask you this question. Is that so?
So what we have done is to collect samples of questions. It's a group. Now what we sat down and group and look at the 5 big game changer where the president has said he would deliver on, and then take these teams to the public in different districts and ask the ordinary man to ask questions around those themes.
All right. So, Mr.
So for example, we are in Kailam to collect questions from the public. The president has said on, for example, agriculture, do you want to ask questions in that respect? So the ordinary people will now ask questions around agriculture, around education, around health, around this. We will record those questions and package them. We now go to all across Sierra Leone, across the district, package all of those questions and group them into themes. So when we are in the hall, those questions will now be played to the president and said, this is what Sierra Leoneans think or ask around agriculture. So what should be your response, Mr. President? Okay. So it gives opportunities to the president to hear what the ordinary man said in Kailam, what the ordinary man said in Kono, what the ordinary man said around these areas. So that's one way. Another thing is that people could send their question to online. I mean, the minister does not joke with online questioning. In fact, he allows, that is a priority for those who ask questions online. It is likely that your question would meet the presidency. And then in the hall, those of us who will be in the hall also have the opportunity to ask questions.
All right.
So that is already been declared, that is fixed.
So, Mr. Kamara, I know in development communication, this is an attempt to bring in the participatory model of development.
Democracy.
Yes, democracy. Even though more need to be done if you really want people to be part of it. But my question is, what are the mechanisms in place to make sure that questions or feedbacks that is being given from that town hall meeting directly influence development projects in future?
So, when the ordinary man asks question around health, it means that he or she may have experience. It may be that those questions are informed from the experience of that man regarding the health sector. So it becomes natural. You see the man asking questions around food security. It means that he's asking about what he's experiencing. The other man asking question about transportation. It means that he's asking from the experience of what he's going through in transportation. So all of those questions would now be played. So the president will now see the ordinary man asking questions.
So my question is, how will those feedbacks influence development project that will be tailored in the future?
So the president will now respond. And all government functionaries will be seated again in that hall to also learn from where they think they could do more. Because perhaps, it is difficult to satisfy every single man in Sierra Leone. But you can also learn that a group of people in Kailam wants this or requires this. So if you are a minister and it's around health, you now know that you have to do more to satisfy a group of people in Kailam who have asked questions around health. I mean, so it also gives us the opportunity to learn about what the ordinary man thinks around areas the president is implementing.
So when we said this is not the first town hall meeting, we had one in Freetown, we had another one in Kenema, and now we're having it in Makini. People still feel disconnected from government. They still feel that they are not part of they are not being consulted, they are not being participating. Just to go to them does not mean that they are participating. You need to get them, to let them know, to let them tell you what they want, how they want it, and how that will benefit them. But if that is not happening, then they are actually not part of what is happening.
In a participative democracy, not every single man will have access to the
Definitely.
presidency. Not even in the media, not every single journalist will have access to the media. But it is likely that, given the work of journalists, they may have access to all authorities that may sit with president.
Okay.
But in this circumstance, the philosophy is to allow the common man to interact with the presidency. And that is why this is not a press conference. It is not for journalists, neither for CSO people or for people in authority. This presidential town hall is for the ordinary man to access the president, the president, and interact and dialogue and hold him to account on his 1 year stewardship. That is the essence of this event.
All right, thank you very much.
So if you are a journalist, you are there, you do not have the opportunity to ask questions, do not query the process.
Thank you very
because
much.
the event is not for you.
And he is the chief director of
Let me make that clear.
civic education. This is Good Morning Sir.
Because they have a tendency to say, don't be giving time to ask questions. No, it's not for you. Wait for the Tuesday press conference.
All right,
You
thank
have
you
time
very
to
much.
ask.
We'll come back to you, Emmanuel.
Well, let's take a look at the L tips. Today we'll take a look at what causes erectile dysfunction. The urologist answers questions that men may be too afraid to ask their doctor. Let's watch and learn.
One of the most common misconceptions is that ED, or erectile dysfunction, is due to a low testosterone level in most cases. This is actually a pretty rare cause of ED. It's usually due to things like cardiovascular disease, hardening and narrowing of the arteries that bring blood to the penis, or things like performance anxiety. If you're experiencing new erectile dysfunction, it's really important for us to get to the bottom of what might be causing it, as sometimes it might be a consequence of major health issues that could be brewing and could lead to a heart attack in 5 years or so. So if you're experiencing new or worsened erectile dysfunction, it's really important to start that conversation with your primary care doctor or a urologist so that we can order any necessary testing that might need to be performed to better understand what the cause is.
Well, it's Good Morning Sierra Leone live on TV, and before we went for that break, we were talking to Almami Lahai Kamara from the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, and I guess you've learned a lot from that very educative video that you've just seen. Well, we continue with the program this morning, and if you have questions for Mr. Lahai or for Alfonso, do send them to the number on your screen, or you go to our Facebook page, slbc.sl.
We'll go over to another issue. The Guma Valley Water Company is actively installing thousands of meters across Freetown under a universal metering program. This initiative, which includes a mix of smart, ultrasonic and mechanical meters, aims to reduce water loss, conserve water, and ensure residents pay only for what they consume. In the studio, we have Engineer Santigi Conte from the Guma Valley Water Company. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I want you to take members of the public through this process that you are going to do.
Good morning once again. We are encouraging the public to kindly embrace this metering process because it helps Guma Valley and the public too. Metering, it helps Guma Valley to bill its customers accurately. Of course, we have so many customers sometimes complain about how the billing pattern is. Some people will be like, I do not consume this amount of water, so how can you bill me this? So to solve all these problems, we are embarking on this meter installation process. So through our developing partners, we've received about 2,120 meters for which we are actively installing now. But in the meantime, we've started the process in Wilberforce. Of course, subsequently, we'll be installing these meters in all the areas, east, central, and west. So, but for now, of course, we are targeting areas with high pressures because we don't want to install these meters in areas where water supply is kind of a challenge. So that's why we make such decision for us not to miss the point because it's sort of a business. Guma Valley invested a lot of money acquiring where the water supplies is really appreciable.
So when you talk about Wilberforce, you said Wilberforce, the water supply is highly appreciable. I stays at Wilberforce.
Okay.
So I would say that what you're saying, from my own experience, is not appreciable to me. Sometimes you will stay 2 weeks without even the tap running water. So you saying that you installing it at Wilberforce, where even I also am making some of these complaints saying that why are these guys always you come with bills, and then now you are saying that it's highly appreciable. I want you to tell me, how is it appreciable Wilberforce not getting it, because I stay very closer to the Guma Valley office there.
Okay. So when we talk about appreciable pressure, sometimes we do have breakdowns from the ETSA because the water supply at Wilberforce is highly hinged on pumping. Sometimes we do have power outages from the pumping station as well. So if you are talking of you not receiving water supply for some time, maybe it's due to some of these problems. Talking about appreciate pressure, when we pump water to Wilberforce community, we are ensuring customers who connected on the pumping mains, the line is highly pressurized. So that's what we mean installing these meters where the water pressure is really appreciable. We are not talking of the timeline we are receiving water supply. We acknowledge the fact that Wilberforce is sometimes challenged. Most times it can be with ETSA. So that's the reason why we are saying for your own area you sometimes have some challenges. But that's the situation.
This meter that you're talking about, is it something like a prepaid sort of?
No, it is not. This is postpaid meter. Just that this one, they are smart meters, ultrasonic. Before then, we used to have mechanical meters, but for these ones, they are ultrasonic, which can be read like, we have the AMR system, the automatic meter reading, where sometimes we don't need to go there physically to read the meters. And that's why even the installation pattern has been changed from the initial one we've been doing before. Now,
Go ahead.
okay, so now you don't have the meter on the same platform like the service connection pipe. Now the meter is beneath the meter because we want to create a platform where water always stays within the meter area for us not to have issues about constant reading as the case may be.
Okay. So, Mr. Conte, Engineer Conte, let's talk about how different is this going to be. It's not going to be a situation where we have our ETSA meter in our home, and at the end of the day, we don't get electricity.
No, I will say no, because that's why we are targeting areas where in the water supply systems it's really appreciable because, like I said initially, we don't want to run at a loss because we invest a lot of money in acquiring this meter. So we don't want to install the meter wherein the customers are really challenged with water supply. So that's why we have selected areas where we are sure that the water supply within those areas is really good. Then if we install these meters, we will have it on Saturday.
How about your monitoring mechanism? Because even with the sophisticated system that ETSA have, we still see people bypassing the system for them to get electricity without paying the required amount. How strong is your monitoring team?
Well, actually, there comes the change of the specifications. Because before now, we were using the mechanical meters. Now, we have these ultrasonic meters, and the method of installation, whenever these meters are bypassed, it sends a signal. That's why we have the AMR system.
You still have your men who will go out there to do it, just like you have those working.
No, sure.
at
We have them. Then, of course, the device itself will tell us for any malpractice or something any customer want to do with it. Then we'll pick it up from our system. So that's why we are benched on installing these ultrasonic meters.
Even when someone tried to cut the pipe?
Yeah, sure. Within the premise. We don't mean outside. But within the premise. If you want to do any tampering, then we'll pick it up from the device.
All right, thank you very much, Engineer. Continue to stay with us. He is Engineer Santigi Conte, and he is from Guma Valley Water Company. Continue to stay with us, where we still have Alfonso Mani, the man with the authority, to talk about.
Where is Alfonso getting this authority?
Alfonso said he is a citizen, and therefore, the bar association he is interested in that. Okay, now Alfonso, and earlier on I asked you that we have a lot of issues that really need the attention of civil society organizations. For example, fuel price, if the pump price, if you look what's happening now across the world, it's really dropping at a faster rate, but it's not reflecting in Sierra Leone. These are all concerns, these are all issues that you should be talking about.
So
How about that?
thank you very much. Yesterday we issued out a press release. I'm also the chairman for CSO Consortium on Petroleum.
Okay.
We have the data. We always do engagement with relevant stakeholders. In terms of the plots, we understand. PRA have the figures. When we want the figure, we communicate to them, they give us. But let me explain so people understand. You know, when the fuel price government, you know, adjusted to 35 for petrol and 40 for diesel, government freeze it at that level. Price continued to rise at the international market. It was freezed to the point that government have subsidized $1.6 million because, you know, information is power. It's good to give out the right information. So by then, when petrol was 35, the market price was about 40 euros. So government subsidized, and these you have read IMF reports. Even before now, the former government, IMF always frown at government, you know, to subsidize rice, to subsidize fuel. They think you should invest the money in proper programs, right? So that has been happening. We have engaged the NPRA, we have raised this concern, and they have assured us that in the next review, we hope for good news. So this is why we issued out the press release yesterday. Why is government also wants to protect consumers? It is the responsibility of government to protect investors. Because, so let me just
go ahead.
Because those who invested their money, let me tell you, government does not sell fear. As a matter of fact, government is buying fuel at the same price me and you are buying fuel.
Who determines the price of the fuel?
It's the market demand and supply that determine the price of fuel. The plots, the formula. It's not me. They have a formula that determine the price of fuel. And if you look at the formula, they tabulate it. That determine the price of fuel based on the plots. We have had a stable exchange rate for a period of time, which we want to commend the Bank of Sierra Leone. But what determines is not crude oil, it's refined products that is coming in, not crude oil. Most of the prices people are coming.
So
let's give this public education. Most of the prices people are quoting is for crude oil. What we use here is refined products.
So do you want to say?
So why is our own case different from other countries in the sub?
So I am telling you, in other countries, they follow the market price. When it goes up, they increase, they adjust. But at a period, we freeze it.
So Alfonso,
this was made clear yesterday by the Ministry of Information.
So my question is, because of what the government did, because the price was freezed at that time, so we are not going to experience any reduction in the cost of fuel.
I'm not saying that. What they do, they normally review on a monthly basis. On a crisis, they review regularly. So what government did, they put a committee together beyond the Ministry of Trade, Finance and NPRA. There is a committee set by government who monitors this situation. And they also monitor, you know, it's a volatile sector. We must agree, because one click, or even if Israel, you know, fire a shot now in Lebanon, prices will change, things will go rapid. So to protect the investor, to protect consumer, this is why government frees it. But I am telling you, we have received assurance that the next review there will be good news.
When will that be?
I mean, I believe by Monday or Tuesday, the committee will meet to review.
Okay, Alfonso, I am very sure the people are actually looking into.
I'm restrained from asking him some questions because he is not here for that.
So let's go
So
back
you
to
can.
Let's go back to the bar
let's
association
deal with the bar
election.
association.
You can on the
So-
petroleum.
Bar association. Let's deal with the bar association.
Alfonso, let's go back to the bar association election. We'll definitely have to host you here to talk about the fair.
I'll be glad.
So let's talk about the bar association election. I still keep saying we say you have no business in this, even though you've said you are a citizen.
I have justified it. So
Yes.
let's move beyond that point.
So now, I asked you before now whether you've been able to engage Tuma Jabi, not any other member of her executive, because This is about a Sierra Leonean.
So this is not for Madam Tuma Jabi, it's for the executive.
No, because others are saying that yes, because of that election that ushered in as the president has not been a very good sign for Sierra Leone. Therefore, she is supposed to think outside the box and say, you know what, because of all what has happened over the years, let me see how I can make this very open so that we all go to elections. Whatever the outcome, we all accept it and move on as a country or as an association. That's why I'm asking if you've been able to engage her.
Thank you very much. That election ushered in a new executive, not a single individual.
Definitely, I'm just asking
So
because she is the leader.
No, in the Comlin, there are roles and responsibility, but because they register Comlin limited by guarantee. So you don't expect a single individual to take decision. I will not say that. We're talking of the Bar Association.
She is the president, that's why I'm saying.
Even here in SLBC, there are roles and responsibilities. You take collective decision. So this is what I expect from the bar. It's collective decision. And engaging media, it's not only the president that engages media. You have their PRO, other members, they engage media. So that's my point. So they usher in a new executive. As you rightly said, after that election, they should have mend fences to ensure.
What if the other members have failed to listen to her?
I don't think so. Let me tell you, after the 2023 election, the current opposition said, we are not participating. The moral guarantor came. All of us, it's give and take negotiation. You don't stick to your points. As I'm talking to you, they're in parliament, they're in councils. Even with the appointment of Edmond Alpha, they did the same. As I'm talking to you, they're in parliament, they are council. This is what you do.
That's what the Lawyer Society should have done. Is that so?
No, that's what the Bar Association should have done. To bring all of them together. Madam, you go to the public, they will tell you they are sharply divided. Before now, when you look at lawyers, even when you report your colleague, somebody from the public report lawyers, the lawyer will tell you, please, there is a committee or there is a council, go there and report. Yes. But I will say, go to social media because this lawyer not in my own camp. They are divided. So what we are saying, we want to see that united bar. So when there are issues of constitution, they can give their opinion that will guide my discussion.
So Alfonso, in an instance, this advocacy that you're making to the Tuma's executive to do readjustments in the subscription payment the time, in an instance they fail to do that, what can you do as a consortium?
So firstly, I said it on the radio this morning, we have called on the titular head of the bar to ensure that this happens according to the law. Two, we have also called on the National Investment Board because they register them, they know their M&E better. But logically looking at it, if there was a set date for an election, June 5 and 6, and the cutoff date for that election was the 29th of May, if you have postponed the election to a later date, my brother, for inclusivity stake, adjust. So you go to a peaceful election. We also raised the issue. The press release you spoke of arrears. So this is why we asked you to publish delegate list before the AGM. So if I have paid for 2026 and I owe arrears for 2024, 2022, I will make good the payment before the election. But do you want to wait during the conduct of the election and you tell me you are not qualified? A lot of problems will happen. We want to prevent that. This is what we are doing. So they will go to a free, fair, transparent and credible elections. And lots of lawyers have complained to us that even the appeal you made, up to now the portal is closed, we cannot pay. And lots of them.
So if the portal is still closed despite your appeal,
so this is why I want to assure them, with all state apparatus on board, because this is kind of a unique election, unique one. We've not seen this in the
Why
past.
is it unique?
Because of what happened in Kenema, they failed to take corrective measures so it will not reoccur.
Okay.
We are sensing a reoccurrence. In Kenema, it was a truck. They cross a truck. Maybe this be to mine and oil and then will put it on the ground later and go skate. So I am saying we want to prevent all of this. We want to prevent all of this. That truck, I will not point at any individual to say I have evidence that you did it. But it's unusual for a truck to cross when you have elections and some of your colleagues slept at bow. They want to access the venue, they cannot. So putting all of this together, this is why we are very proactive now to say, look, lawyers have complained that when they go to the secretariat, the treasurer is not around. We've crossed that. We raise our voice. We are so furious. We've crossed that. Now we are saying, because of the press list issue you spoke of, Aria, publish this list.
All right,
so if you are in areas, you will make good before the elections.
All right, thank you very much, Alfonso Manley. Continue to stay with us. We still have Mr. Kamara from the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, as they will be heading to McKinney for the third town hall so far, organized by the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. And this time around, President Bio will be there to talk to citizens, just to answer the questions that you'll be asking. Mr. Kamara, before we went for that break, you told us that you even spoke about journalists, that if you are in the town hall and you are not allowed to ask questions, you should wait for Tuesday press conference.
And the journalist not part of the
So because
population.
if I want to talk to the president, why do I have to wait for Tuesday, where I will only be talking to the Minister of Information
citizens?
and Civic
There's
Education?
always access. I mean, the media has a way of accessing state authorities. You have a way of talking to whosoever you want to talk to. You have a way of meeting the Attorney
So
General,
I want
for
to
example.
believe we only use the media, journalists as
As an example,
Yeah.
yes. But, I mean, this is principally organized for the ordinary man. Those in the market, those riding bikes, those in the transport sector, for example, the taxi drivers. I mean, in the religious people. I mean, the ordinary man.
How sure are you that those people that you are referring to will be in that hall? They will be allowed. For the fact that you are invited, it's based on the
Exactly,
invitation.
it's based on the invitation.
Uh.
I mean, to get Sierra Leoneans, there are sectors you can reach out to. If you want to get the BRU, you go to their representative. They have union. If you want to invite CSOs, I mean, if you want to invite journalists, you go to SLAJ. So you go to those sectors of society that, if you put together, would give you accumulation of the public. So, I mean, these are the sectors we invite to send representatives to attend the event. So it means that you have invited Sierra
Is
Leoneans.
Alfonso invited?
Certainly is invited.
I've received my invitation.
All right, thank you. So we had Joe here the other day, and I was asking about how relaxed will the security be, so that the people will not feel intimidated that, President, this is the north and this is Palm Valley. I was talking to Joe yesterday that the other day I was in McKinney, and there was this, I think President was coming from from some other part. He was going to use McKinney. The moment the people heard that President Bio was coming, there was this panic and all this stuff. How relaxed will that security be?
In terms of the within the hall, let's talk about within the hall. Outside the hall,
I'm
of
talking
course.
about McKinney.
Well, outside the hall there will be security, but within the whole event is managed by MYCE. So you will not see any security officer interfering with what we should be doing in terms of ushering the guest and in terms of transporting the mic from one end to the other whilst the president is speaking. It will be civilians, so that people are relaxed. So it's be an interaction with the presidency. So I understand your point, but we must also not downplay the significance that we are talking about the presidency, and security for the presidency is paramount. We cannot downplay that. But at the same time, in terms of fear, to address that and to allow the all to be relaxed, so everyone is relaxed in speaking to the presidency, it means that we will be civilians, and this event is organized by civilians, by us and the State House Communication. So that is all been taken care of, and that is all been addressed.
So he is Almami Lai Kamara, the Chief Director in the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. We still have Engineer Conte with us in the studio from the Guma Valley Water Company, who is talking about their current meeting process. Mr. Conte, this particular system that you're coming with, will me, as ordinary man who owns a tap, have the opportunity to read the meter myself and know, okay, for example, EDSA, I can say that, I have five units remaining, I need to go and purchase will the ordinary man understand how to read it themselves?
Definitely. When these meters are installed, the start reading is always 0 cubic meters. Of course, we have our tariff. We can share the tariff with the customer as it is always available. So you, the customer, even sometimes you can quantify at the end of the month what you are expected to be billed by Goma Valley. You know, like for example, if you consume like let's say 10 cubic meters a month, you can go to the tariff. You see the different descriptions. Of course, you are a residential. I consume 1 cubic meter. This is the amount I will be paying. So at the end of the month, you can quantify. Oh, I consume 10 cubic meters for this month. I'm expected Guma to charge me 100 loans, for example. You understand? So you will be guided. Of course, you have the access.
So, Mr. Conte, when you are talking about cubic meter, so many people don't even understand when you say 1 cubic meter, when someone has, so many people don't understand that. So let's talk about you, how the mechanism that you put in place to make citizens really understand when you say 1 cubic meter, 2 cubic meter, what volume of water you can use, then you say this person can consume 1 cubic meter or 2 or more.
So in simple analogy, when we are talking of cubic meters, like 1 cubic meter is equivalent to 1,000 liters. Of course, I'm sure everyone knows what is liter. You understand? So 1 cubic meter is equivalent to 1,000 liters of water. So
Alright.
that's the rationale.
Alright, thank you very much, engineer. Continue to stay with us for the moment. It's now time for us to find out what papers are saying.
Well, I start the ball rolling with the Independent Observer paper that says Akisoya engages King Charles III. RAIC rules on matter between Mukhtar Dukoe and National Investment Board. Local government ministry withdraws recognition of paramountship in Tokololi district. These stories are more you find in the Independent Observer.
From the Independent Observer, we'll go to the Standard Times newspaper. Standard Times, Kailam violence, 25 detained as police investigate death of bike rider. And Freetown advances Global South climate leadership in London Climate Action Week. These are more you find in the Standard Times newspaper.
And the next one I have is the Pyramid newspaper that says 1 dead, 25 arrested after Kailan unrest. Journalists demand better working conditions. These stories plus more you find in the Pyramid newspaper.
In Pyramid, we go to the Calabash. Sierra Leonean woman killed in tragic carjacking incident in the United States. And President Bio to engage citizens at Third National Town Hall in McKinney. And finally, Attorney General reaffirms commitment to innovation at AIPO online services workshop. These are more you find in the...
And the final one I have here is the African 24 that says, I will prioritize unity, Triple S pledges, that is Sori Sulaiman Sise, fact versus fabrication, reassessing the Indus Basin water debate, dead political parties to deregister. This story is plus one, find in the Africa 24.
And our final paper for today and for this week is the Gleaner newspaper. Dr. Senge's call for collaboration on trans-organized crime pays off. These stories plus more you will find in the Gleaner newspaper. And for those of you who are interested in sports, just grab one of these papers and you definitely get yourself a very good reading time. Please be reminded that views expressed in these newspapers do not in any way reflect the views of the SLBC. We are merely saying what the papers are saying. Well, we have to go. And Emmanuel.
Yeah, well, viewers, this is body cutting. So today's edition of Good Morning Senor, it is the final edition of this week. And before we go, let's take the quote again. It's from American author George Orwell, and it says, if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. Good Morning Senor returns next week Monday. I've been Monday Salman.
And I'm sure that is what the president will be going to McKinney for. That people will tell him what is happening and not what he wants to hear. This is how we end the program. Good morning. Say Leon, many thanks to my producer Daphne Zainab Kamara and to all our guests Alfonso Mali, Almamil Hai Kamara and Engineer Conte. Goodbye and have a lovely weekend.
I run a small logistics company. Every cent counts. I didn't think I needed a fuel card until I got the Cornex fuel card. Now, I track exactly how much fuel my fleet uses, in real time. And when my wife or kids need fuel, no cash, no stress. It's safe, accepted nationwide, and I control how much goes on each card. At the end of the month, I see the savings, real savings. Cornex fuel card. I didn't know I needed it. Now, I can't run my business or family without it. Fuel smart. Live smart. Visit any Cornex filling station to sign off, or any Cornex office to get your card.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Do Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.